everyone! Today we will be doing the Q&A video that was requested on Instagram. Thank you to the young lady who requested the video, and thank you to the followers who participated and asked questions. So let's start with the first question. When did I realize I wanted to play an instrument? Well, I think I should start off by saying I come from a very musical background. My parents were in a wedding band before I was born, and my mother is actually still the lead singer of a rock band at 51 years old. I also have some very gifted musicians on both sides of my family. I think that musical foundation I had within my family unit as a whole is really what helped drive me to become a musician in the first place. When I was 3, we realized I could sing, and the next logical step seemed to be to learn how to accompany myself. And that led to piano lessons, learning how to read and write music, guitar, music school, and so on and so forth. I've really always had music in my blood. It was more of learning how to harness the gift and how to use it properly than deciding it was something I wanted to do, because I was just born specifically for music. I really do believe music chose me and I did not choose it. So the next question on the list is, what bands do I listen to? That's kind of a loaded question for me because I could probably go on for hours about the different bands I listen to and the different genres and what draws me specifically to each of them. So I'm going to try and make this answer as painless for you guys as possible. I'll start off by saying I really like music that is theoretically and lyrically interesting. That being said, I do avoid most of the popular music that you hear on the radio, like the pop and Taylor Swift and rap for the most part, but it's really for theoretical purposes. When I say that, I mean when you strip away the lyrics to those songs, it's the same chord progression for every single one. It's just in a different key with a different tempo, but it's the same 4 chords. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the 4 chord song by Axis of Awesome and you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. As a musician, I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. Don't get me wrong, lots of talented people use that method and lots of people are very successful using it. But as a musician, I want to hear music that challenges me and makes me want to be a better musician rather than mimic something that's been done to death thousands of times. I also like music, like I said, that's very lyrically interesting, and that's because I really do believe that music has the power to move people. The hashtag bands save lives or music saves lives has been trending for a very long time, and I really do believe in that. People want to hear the words they're afraid to say, and people want to hear stories that they can relate to and hopefully learn something from. That's why so many musicians become such big idols. It's because they can relate to you, and it's someone you can learn from and you look up to. And I feel like as a musician, it's kind of your job to write things that mean something and create a visceral reaction. If you can change somebody's life for the better, I feel like that's an opportunity you should take as a musician. So I really do like music that has a lot of lyrical depth. That being said, if you're looking for specifics, I do tend to listen to more of the alternative music than the popular music of today. I do listen to a lot of post-hardcore and metal. And when I say that, I mean everything from Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens, Bring Me the Horizon, to Dimmu Borgir, Cannibal Corpse, Carnifex, and music like that. I also listen to a lot of singer-songwriting stuff like Ed Sheeran and Elliott Smith. If you don't know who Elliott Smith is, you should look him up. He's very underrated. But moving on, what is my favorite junk food? I really don't eat a lot of junk food, to be perfectly honest. I'm not really sure if ice cream counts or if that's technically a sweet, but I have an obsession with ice cream. It's probably a problem, but if I'm gonna say I eat a junk food, it's ice cream. The next question on the list is, on a scale of 1 to swag, how YOLO am I? I have no idea what that means, and I've been trying to figure it out for the past few days. So I'm going to answer that question with how I answer my close friends when they're confusing me, by just saying, I'm a mermaid Barbie, so it doesn't matter. So the next question on the list is, what is my hairspiration? My hair has been the topic of a lot of comments on Instagram, and as I always say on Instagram, my hair is absolutely an art form. I kind of started out messing with my hair as a little bit of a revenge against a hairstylist when I was young, because growing up, I would always bring in a picture of the haircut I wanted, which is what I have now, really. It's the super layered scene kid traditional hairstyle. And I was always told in this salon that it was absolutely photoshopped and not possible to create. So one day when I was probably 10, I went home after a mortifying haircut and decided to try and do it myself. And I did. And after that, I kind of decided no one was allowed to touch my hair but me. And after cutting it became a routine habit, I started messing with colors just because it was something else to do. And it kind of just depends on my mood. I mean, my hair has been 16 different colors over the past 4 years. And I don't just mean colors. Like right now, my hair is 3. I've got the blue, the white, and the pink. I mean 16 different styles over the past 4 years, and each one had multiple colors within it. So my hair really is pretty mood-based. I will say I do tend to stick with a lot of the same colors. One of the reasons is I'm super pale, so I have to be really careful because if I dye it a certain way, I tend to look super washed out and kind of like the little girl from The Grudge, and it's really not a good look. I've had black hair, so I know. But I actually am planning to change my hair again in the next few months, so that's a surprise you guys will have to look forward to. The next question on the list is, if I could work with one musician in all of history, who would it be? This question is kind of a toss-up for me because I've thought about it before, and it's always been between John Lennon and Kurt Cobain. But if I absolutely have to pick, I would have to say Kurt Cobain for one very specific reason. Kurt Cobain, and a lot of people don't know this, but I have done so many research papers about him growing up in middle school and high school that I kind of have this weird amount of knowledge on Kurt Cobain, and it's probably not healthy, but one of the things a lot of people don't know is that when he would have a due date for an album or a song, he'd go into the studio 5 minutes beforehand, completely unprepared, and write the song in that 5 minutes. As a musician, I know it's incredibly difficult to write a hit song. And to be able to write a hit song in 5 minutes with absolutely no preparation takes some serious talent. You have to be incredibly gifted to be able to pull that off, and pull it off as well as he did. I mean, he skyrocketed to fame, to a level of fame he didn't even want, to be perfectly honest. And as a musician, I really appreciate the fact that he was able to even do that. That takes raw talent and some insane skill, and I feel like I could benefit, and any musician could really benefit by learning how to write the way he did, because he was just able to crank things out at such an unnatural pace. It was kind of amazing. So I have a lot of respect for him as a musician because of that. The next question on the list is, if I could have a natural talent not related to music, what would it be? Some people might not say this is a talent, but I really wish I was good at math. I mean, I feel like math should be a talent because there are some people, like my grandfather or my cousin Lindsay, who are just born with this insane ability to do really complicated math. I can't do basic math. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I am terrible at math. I can't do basic math, and it's really a problem. So for those of you who are still in high school and middle school complaining, I'm never going to use this. You might not ever use calculus or anything like that, but when you're paying bills, you need to be able to do a good amount of division, percentages, and all that stuff that I'm just incapable of doing. And it's really hard if you don't know how to do it. So I really wish that I was talented at math. The next question was, what is my favorite animal? I love penguins, mostly because they're short and they wish they could fly, which is pretty much me summed up as a person, but also because they are the only other animals that mate for life, and I think it's really cute. And I also think it's totally adorable that male penguins actually propose to female penguins by giving them a pebble, and if the female penguin keeps that pebble, they're technically married. And I think that's so cute, and I feel like we could probably take a lesson from penguins in monogamy. The last question on the list is, when and where was my first performance? Well, that depends. If you mean musical theater, I was 5 and it was the Three Little Pigs and completely irrelevant. If you mean my first musical performance, I was 10 years old and it was in an American Idol style competition that the town I lived in was putting up. And basically, they took a bunch of random people who signed up, or in my case, were signed up for the competition, and pitted them against each other in all different ages. So it kind of wasn't exactly a fair competition, but I got up there and sang in front of 2,000 plus people, terrified. And I think I sang a song from Annie, but I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure it was from that play. And somehow I managed to win. Still have no idea how that happened, and I actually don't remember much of it at all, except going to a little girl's birthday party afterwards with the trophy. But that was the first time I ever really got on stage in front of anybody I wasn't related to or wasn't a family friend. And I feel like that's kind of a really defining moment for me, even though I don't have a lot of memory of it, because I remember thinking, I can do this. I am capable and I am talented enough to be able to do this and beat out people 3 times my age. I must have talent. This must be something I can make a career out of. So those are all the questions you guys asked, so I hope this answers them. If you guys want me to do another Q&A video, just request it on Instagram or on here, and I will try and get it done for you. I hope you guys have a good night.